So here we go. This is where it's crazy. He says, I do a solo live and I do a lot of the things that Eddie Van Halen does. And it kills me that I do that. I guess I thought Quiet Riot would make it, but now that I'm away, I knew it wouldn't. Randy Rhoads never owned a record player or stereo.
He did not, okay.
So he would never learn licks.
Wow, okay. If you were anyone, you had a Starlix video, you know.
Yeah. Such a good haircut there. Here we go. Unheard story. Okay, so this guy says he literally interviewed Randy Rhoads. It was never released. No one had ever seen it at this moment. And it was during the Blizzard of Oz tour. And they were playing with Def Leppard.
How about that?
Which I've heard about that tour. I hear about it a lot. My dad went to that tour in South Florida. He's telling me about it, how great it was of Randy playing there. So he got a full-on interview with him. And it's pretty crazy because he talks about some stuff that he never knew, which was Randy Rhoads never owned a record player or a stereo.
He did not, okay.
So he would never learn licks.
Wow, okay.
So that's why he also didn't like to teach licks, because he didn't have a stereo or a record. So he just wanted to go hear it, or it was hard for him to do that. So he started playing his own style. And that was the most shocking part this guy is saying in the interview. But you got your REH videos. Did you ever have any of these videos growing up? 'Cause I know they were really popular. They had this in Starlix.
Starlix, I remember.
You know Starlix? Yeah.
I used to get them through the shop, you know, through the store that I worked in. I never owned them, but they had the Wolf Marshall ones, the Starlix ones. There was Brian May did one, Tony Iommi did one. And obviously you can see them on YouTube now.
Yeah, now you get them on YouTube, right? Steve Lukather, Brad Gillis had this. I think maybe Campbell had one. Yeah.
If you were anyone, you had a Starlix video, you know.
Yeah.
But no, it was killer.
Yeah, you can learn right from them.
And these guys are still around. There's Lynch, Miola, Ford, B.B. King. Okay, Frank Gambale still around. Steve Moore.
They all are.
They all are. Yeah, what about this side? Keith Wyatt, maybe not. Richie Costin's still there.
Yeah. Yes. Steve Morris, B.B. King. When I was reading this, the guy asked him, so you didn't go through an imitation innovation stage. Most people start with imitation. And he actually says, to be honest, I wish I could agree with you. He goes, but even now, everything happens so fast in this band that I haven't had time enough to really think about what I want to do. But this is where it's crazy. He says, I do a solo live, and I do a lot of the things that Eddie Van Halen does. And it kills me that I do that. It's just flash. Yep. And it impresses the kids. And I'm trying to make a name as fast as I can. I wish I could take time and come up with something that nobody else has done. But unfortunately, it'll take me a few years.
Wow. Fair enough.
That's pretty crazy to hear from Randy Rhoads saying that, right? Because he already had his own style.
We heard Eddie say the same thing. And I don't think he was too happy about it, you know, back in the day.
Yeah.
Schenker was the same. Schenker, he says he doesn't listen to anything. He doesn't want to be polluted.
Yeah.
Or whatever words he used. But same kind of thing. They're coming up with stuff that's unique to them.
Right.
I didn't know.
For him to say that, though.
Yeah.
I mean, because I heard as recently in an interview, they didn't like each other at all. No. So it's like, do you see, he admits that he was trying, throw this stuff in there. It sounded like Eddie. And then the guy says, like, well, can you do something you're proud of? Like, you're proud of? And he actually says, I can't. We try to. And this is while he's with Ozzy. He says, so.
Humble guy.
Right? And like, he says that now they want him and Tommy Aldridge to do a 5-minute solo together. And he said, between the two of us, he said, that's not enough time. He said it's not enough time, believe it or not. And he said that the kids that we play for aren't interested in musical expertise. He said, if you sat down and played some classical, besides those that were interested in the musical side of it, then most of the kids, it wouldn't impress them. They're like headbangers. He says Ozzy has an incredible following with his audience, yada, yada, but he says that he sets to do a solo to show off, and they don't have enough time to do what he really wants to do.
Wow, man.
Isn't that crazy?
That's really interesting.
So you're thinking, right, about his solo spots?
Yeah.
So like, you can only imagine what he would have done if he would have had more time, which I didn't know he didn't think he had enough time to really show his chops. Yeah. And it goes into also, he talks about getting the gig in Ozzy, and he says that he didn't even hear him play. He said, I literally plugged in to my practice amp and just did a riff to tune my guitar. He said, you got it.
How about
that? But you didn't hear me play. He's like, I didn't have a chance to like try to impress you.
Wow.
I wasn't doing anything crazy yet. Wow. So he's like, oh, you're in, which was Dana Strum got him in that gig.
All right.
So he told Ozzy, you got to hear this guy. So it goes into a lot of that.
Getting back to George again, didn't he? Try it for.
Yeah. But
he said it was too short or something.
Is that what he said?
Something like that.
Oh my gosh. Isn't that wild? Dude, he would have knocked that out of the park.
But I think George was teaching
at his school, right? He took the job, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, when Randy got with Ozzy.
Yeah.
That's true. Yes, again, like just the legacy.
Yeah. The time.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, I love it.
You know what's crazy about this too is in this article, this was before Quiet Riot took off. Okay?
Right.
So Us Fest was what, 83? I think?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Hold to me. I may be wrong on that. But the funny thing is, the guy says, so do you think Quiet Riot would have been the band, or were you just excited to have an album with them? He says this. It was more something to do. I guess I thought Quiet Riot would make it, but now that I'm away, I knew it wouldn't. I hate to say it, but it was kind of like I was growing up at the time and didn't know it. He said about Quiet Riot, and took like a year, 2 years after this,
Wow.
they broke out at the Us Fest.
Wow, dude.
And boom, became a huge band.
Yeah.
Is that crazy? But like he said it, I didn't have any faith in that band.
It's interesting to hear, though, because he's very candid. He's very honest, negative and positive about stuff. Whereas today, you do anything, everything has got to be great. How's the new record? It's great. How's the band? It's great. Everything's great. But you can tell back then, I don't know if it was just him, but it was a very honest take.
Yeah.
And stuff that he didn't feel it was going well. Right. Today, you wouldn't mention that. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, very positive. Very positive. But it's funny just to see that kind of stuff. Talks about giving lessons and all that kind of stuff, and the music and playing with Ozzy and how they write their songs.
My weakness is insecurity. I don't go up there every night with a lot of confidence. For someone to say that is a rare thing, especially someone with that level of virtuosity. No, you wouldn't say that in an interview today. You want everything to be great, but that's a great lesson to learn. He's putting it all out there. His weakness is insecurity.
Yeah, it's very true. Yeah, he talked about how he also learned from his students. He said it was different when I started teaching. I started learning so much more about the guitar because I had to get it down right when I was teaching.
For sure, yeah.
So he talks about a lot of that kind of stuff and gear, all that kind of stuff he's using, and how Charvel was going to make him his Flying V's up to that point. And it's interesting, but I took away the fact he didn't have a record player and some of the stuff like he's saying about the other bands. But you're right, it is a very happy-go-lucky world today. What you say in the media, you don't ever want to get too real.
No.
A little bit of Queen in here too.
Right.
How do you pay tribute to one of the greatest guitarists from one of the greatest rock bands of all time?
Tone Arts USA proudly brings to you the ultimate addition to your shred den, the limited edition Super Halen 1x12 stack.
Draped in the pages of a vintage 1990 Van Halen comic book, the Super Halen is a showpiece that can rock like no other.
No two Super Halen amps are the same.
Each cabinet is scientifically crafted with the highest grade materials to give you that monstrous tone that will light up the sky. It's fully loaded with a 12-inch USA-made Green Beret speaker, a total upgrade from the Celestion G12M greenbacks that we've become so accustomed to.
Each cabinet is closed back just like Eddie's, but Tone Arts USA does offer an optional open back if your heart desires.
Visit www.mastersofshred.com now to reserve yours today before you can't get this stuff no more.